guys, welcome back to Ninjago News TV. Throughout Ninjago's life, we have seen many different types of weapons utilized by both heroes and villains alike. So that's why today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 Ninjago weapons and artifacts. So yeah, do keep in mind these are weapons and artifacts, and it doesn't have to be a weapon necessarily to be on this list, as long as it is a weapon or an ancient artifact. So yeah, let's get started. In 10th place, we have the 3 Oni Masks introduced in Season 8. There are 3 different Oni Masks designed to embody the 3 Oni warlords. Basically, we have the Mask of Deception, which gives the user telekinesis, the Mask of Hatred, which gives the user invincibility in the form of stone, and the Mask of Vengeance, which gives the user 4 arms. I feel like the masks were pretty cool, both in the design. I love the design, how it really looks sinister, and each mask is very different in terms of design. And the functions are pretty cool as well, as they possess both defensive and offensive features. So yeah, they are pretty cool. Combined, they can resurrect an Oni, which only adds on to the use of these weapons. But overall, they were used really well by the Sons of Garmadon, and currently 2 out of 3 of them are destroyed right now. The Techno Blades were 4 weapons given to the ninja by Cyrus Borg in order to destroy the digital overlord. They had several different functions, the most notable being that they could actually hack into things. There were 4 different Techno Blades, each had a really unique design, one of them having a chainsaw design, another with the actual chain, and then the other 2 being long and short sticks. Overall, these weapons are really interesting, and I found the concept that they could actually hack into vehicles to turn them into ninja vehicles. I found that concept to be really, really fascinating, and I love the whole futuristic design of them. I just wish they would have had a little more abilities in the show and kind of been used a bit more. I don't know, I feel like they could have been used a bit more, but they were used to reboot the digital system, which was very cool, and destroy the digital overlord. The Aeroblades were weapons crafted in Season 5, made out of deep stone, and used to destroy ghosts. The main aspect of these is that, of course, they were made of deep stone, so they can entirely destroy ghosts in one hit. I found it really cool that they were actually using throwing stars. We hadn't really seen that used since Season 1, the Shurikens of Ice, and I found it pretty fascinating that these throwing stars were used by all the ninja this time instead of just one. The design of them is actually really cool, also using 3 fang pieces in different directions, and again, they're joined by the same central piece, and these weapons are very nicely designed, and they were used very well in the season. In 7th place, we have the Allied Armor of Azure, a weapon used briefly in the beginning of Season 5 by Moro. The catch with this weapon, or as I should say, armor, is that it was able to summon friends from pretty much anywhere, including the Cursed Realm, and that's what made it really interesting to me. The design is also very cool, using different shades of blue, and of course it is able to summon actual people from wherever they may be, which is a very useful skill to have in battle, of course. My main complaint is that this weapon wasn't really used enough, and there was no real backstory associated with the weapon, but other than that, I felt that the use of this weapon in the show was really fascinating. In 6th place, we have the Dragonbone Blade and the Dragon Armor, the newest collectibles in Ninjago's line. Let's talk about the Dragonbone Blade first. Unlike the Dragon Armor, the Dragonbone Blade has an actual ability, and it was made from a piece of the Firstborn, which is pretty gruesome, but anyways, it is able to absorb elemental energy, which is pretty fascinating. It's not really OP the way Chen's staff is, but it is pretty cool on its own. It has a very, very interesting backstory with a lot of confusion behind it, but that's a topic for another day. Anyways, moving into the Dragon Armor is really unique because it has no actual abilities, and I like that. That was a really unexpected twist in Season 9, of course, and it was a well-deserved twist also. We've had seasons where, of course, every artifact has to have some kind of power, but the Dragon Armor is different. Moreover, I feel like the design of the Dragon Armor really stands out on its own, with that awesome gold shiny color, and also the shoulder pad is actually a dragon. So overall, it doesn't have any powers, but it's designed really well. In 5th place, we have the Timeblades. Like the Dragon Armor and the Dragonbone Blade, these weapons have a really unique backstory in Ninjago, one that I love very much. They were actually forged out of Chronosteel and were normal blades, but Chronosteel has the power to absorb elemental energy, so Wu and Garmadon used it to strip the Time Twins of their elemental powers. After that, they were lost to time and began appearing back in Ninjago 40 years later. I love them because they contain elemental energy, and they contain all of Crux and Achronix's elemental energy. Very similar to Chen's staff, but the actual design is much better. There are 4 different Timeblades, which makes it really interesting, and they have different abilities. They're pretty much Crux and Achronix's powers, but in weapons. To add on, the actual design of the weapons is very nice and very unique. Instead of having many different weapon designs, and longer weapons, they're actually just short handheld weapons, kind of like claws in a way. Overall, I feel like the Timeblades are definitely one of the best weapons we've seen from Ninjago. In fourth place, we have the Elemental Blades, which are kind of like the Timeblades, but different in their own way. To start, they're actual weapons, they're actual swords, as opposed to the claw-like Timeblades. Moving on, the design is also very, very fascinating and stands out on its own. The design of these blades are actual kind of translucent blades that have colors that stay true to the ninja. The hilts are also very unique, kind of designed like the Sword of Fire's hilt. Now moving on, the weapons had similar abilities to the Timeblades in the sense that they were able to channel the ninja's elemental power and were really a pure manifestation of their power. The difference, of course, is that the Timeblades actually contained the Time Twin's specific elemental power, whereas the Elemental Blades, if my memory serves me correctly, were just blades that had that kind of power and were specific for each of the ninja. In third place, we have the Sword of Sanctuary, one of the many different artifacts introduced in Season 5. The big deal about this weapon is that it can foresee your opponent's move, which is a very, very useful skill to have in combat. This weapon was used by many different people in the season, namely Moro, Lloyd, and Ronin, and it's very cool. It doesn't really have much of a backstory, but it was found in the Cloud Kingdom, so that kind of stands on its own. The design is just okay, nothing too special. It's just pretty much made out of a bronze kind of colorish with the little blue disc, so that is kind of cool, nothing too special. But I think what's definitely the best part about this weapon is its actual features. Very, very useful in combat, and also a good weapon for Moro. In second place, we have the Sword of Souls, which was the blade that the Jin King had. The Sword of Souls is a very, very unique weapon, and that's why I really love it. It was able to absorb the souls of people into the actual blade. And yeah, speaking of which, the blade has its own dimension kind of thing inside it. So it is able to hold the souls of people inside it. And that is very cool. In addition, it's able to use the elemental powers of people inside, as we saw Nadakon use it several times throughout Season 6. The design of the blade is also really cool, using the same blade piece as the elemental blades, but the hilt is very unique, with 2 axe pieces and a little skull face. Overall, this weapon is definitely one of the best weapons we've seen from Ninjago, as it's very, very unique, as it actually does absorb people's souls inside. That is very different from any other weapon to date. But there is one better weapon, or should I say weapons. You saw this coming, but in first place, we have the original weapons, the Golden Weapons. The Golden Weapons have a very unique backstory in Ninjago, and a lot's happened since they were actually created. So, the Golden Weapons were forged in the Temple of Light from the metal, from the lava, and the Golden Peaks by the first Binjitsu Master. Now, of course, the Golden Weapons were pretty much used to spark the plot for the first few seasons of Ninjago, with Garmon and the Skullkin actually hunting for them. When Samukai tried to wield the 4 golden weapons all at once, he was killed, and this opened up a portal to the Darkness Dimension, or the Madness Realm, where Garmon was able to go and mutate so he could possess the weapons. Of course, he did actually get the weapons, and was able to craft the Mega Weapon, which is the second incarnation of the Golden Weapons. The Mega Weapon was cool in its own way, as it was a really nice combination of the 4 golden weapons he was able to create, but eventually it was destroyed with the force of the golden weapons, the original golden weapons. The third incarnation was the Golden Armor, which was used by the Overlord in Season 3. The Golden Armor is pretty cool, but it doesn't really have any of its own special abilities, other than the fact that it's a very useful defense mechanism, as no one can really touch it or they'll die. So, yeah, as of now, the Golden Weapons, the remnants of the Golden Weapons remain in the Golden Armor right now, which is somewhere, but yeah. The Golden Weapons had a really unique design, as they incorporated dragon-like designs in them, and I also found it very unique that, of course, I mean, they could shoot elemental powers. They were the first, they were the first kind of weapons that had those elemental powers, and therefore, they are very unique, and they are the original Ninjago weapons. So that'll wrap up this video. What do you guys think? What are your top 10 Ninjago weapons? Be sure to leave a comment detailing your top 10 weapons. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, share with anyone and everyone you know, and I will see you next time.